warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everybody, we are from Kangaroo Maths Malaysia. My name is Balkis. So right now we are trying to fulfill one of many requests from our fellow students and our fellow teachers. We have been receiving calls saying that our registration form can be a little bit too complicated to fill out. So now we are doing a step-by-step tutorial video to show you how exactly that we need to fill this registration form so that we can prevent future mistakes such as filling out the wrong form or the wrong fill for the form. So yeah, right now in front of me I have my laptop and I'm going to read to you one by one how the instruction goes, and if anything that you don't understand or whatever, you can also contact us at the end of the video. I'll show you what's the phone number to call and what's the email to email any of your inquiries at all. Okay, so we have two forms. What we're going to do is we're just going to go through one by one. First, we're going to go through the early registration form, and then we're going to go through the normal registration form. I would like to remind you that both of these forms are basically the same forms. It's just that the normal registration form probably needs more information on your students rather than the early registration form. So okay, so let's not waste any more time. Oh wait, before that, let me just tell you, the early registration period is from the 1st of November, the previous 1st of November, until this upcoming 31st December. So if you haven't registered yet, go ahead straight to www.kangaroomath.com.my. We have a banner right there. Just click on the banner and you can straight away, it'll bring you to the form and you can just straight out fill it out. For normal registration period is on the 1st of January to the 20th of February. So if you don't wish to do an early registration form, you can wait until that period starts, which basically when school starts, you can start filling out the form as well. Okay, so I think that's basically it. We'll go straight into the form. Alright, so the form right here, what you can see right now is the early registration form. And I'm just gonna scroll through here. Just so that you can see what it looks like roughly. Alright, we have a lot of important notes right here which you have to read so that you can make sure that you are the only one that can fill out the form. Alright, so okay, so that is it for the early registration form. This is an already completed early registration form, so we'll just go through it, all of the information one by one so that you know what to do. And this one right here is the normal registration form. So as you can see, it looks pretty much the same. The instructions are the same and the method to send the registration form is basically the same. All you have to do, the thing that is different right here would be the information right here. Number 3, list of participants. For normal registration form, you will have to fill out the information of the participants, their school name. If it's a surrogate participant, you have to fill out their school name. If not, you only have to fill out the names, the gender, the IC number, race, and as well as their age. So I will explain to you why these boxes are red right here. Okay, after this. So let's just begin. Okay, we'll begin with the early registration form right here. So number 1, we're just going to go through the instructions right here. Okay, so instructions. The first one, only teachers and lecturers should submit this registration form. Alright, no students can fill out this form, no parents, strictly teachers only. So parents out there, if you are interested to send your students, or I'm sorry, to send your child to join KMC for 2019, please ensure that you go through the school teacher only, because we can only accept registrations from done by school teachers. So number 2, save the form in XLS or XLSX format, which is basically the Excel format. Okay, we've already saved this whole thing with the whole formula in the Excel document. So if you change it to a Word document, we might not get the form back in its original form. Okay, so make sure you save it in Excel. Number 3, once you've completed the form, please email the completed form to info@kangaroomath.com.my. I repeat, info@kangaroomath.com.my. Alright, do not submit the hard copy of this form. You can, if you did fill out the hard copy, you can keep it for your own record just in case. And after you have emailed us the completed form, we will email you back with the registration confirmation within 5 working days. Now we tell you it's 5 working days, but if you want to be safe, we suggest that you wait for at least 7 days because at one point the registration emails comes in. There's so many emails coming in to us, and we take a little bit more time to email back to the teachers. So after 5 working days, if you still haven't received any emails, we suggest that you wait another extra 2 days. If you still haven't gotten one, then you can contact us straight away and check with us whether we've received your registration form or not. Okay, so the deadline to submit the registration form and payment is on 31st December 2018. This is only for early registration participants. Alright, so as you can see here, we have an important box right here. Alright, in this important box, it is important that you save your document name with KMC 2019 early registration form in parentheses here, school's name. Okay, so if your school name happens to be SMK Hulu Kelang, so please save your Excel document with KMC 2019 early registration form SMK Hulu Kelang. You don't have to fill it out Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan, you don't have to do that. But for Hulu Kelang, make sure it's a full name. Let's say your school name has a Datuk, please put full word D-A-T-O or D-A-T-U-K. If you have a doctor in your school name, do not put D-R dot, please put it D-O-C-T-O-R. So this is a rough example, of course. So yes, this is what your document should be named as. Alright, so that's number 1, that's the instructions. So we're going to go through the how to fill in the form. Use capital letters to fill in number 1, 2, and number 3. Section number 1 and section number 2 and section number 3. So early school registration form only has section 1 and section 2, as you can see right here. Only section 1, section 2, and the form doesn't have section 3. But in the normal registration form, it has a section number 3, in which section number 3 is the list of participants. Alright, so that's basically what's different between these two forms. I'm going to go back to early school registration form. Okay, so yeah, fill out the form, use capital letters to fill in 1, 2, and 3. Fill in the blue cells only. Alright, the blue cells only. Red cells are auto-generated fields. Do not fill any value. For example, right here, okay, so right here, you have total number of expected participants. Let's say you have 10 number of participants. So you can just fill out 10 and the form will calculate automatically for you that this is the amount that you need to pay for your students to join KMC. Okay, so it's auto-generated, it's written right here. Alright, so you should not be missing that part right there. Okay, so that was the instructions on how to fill out the early registration form, which is roughly basically the same with the normal registration form. As you can see here, it's basically the same, except that the deadline to submit the registration form for normal is different date, which is the 20th February 2019, which is also the last day for registration. Okay, so that was the instructions on how to fill out the early registration form, which is roughly basically the same with the normal registration form, except the difference is the deadline to submit this form is on the 31st December, while the normal form needs to be submitted before the 20th February 2019, as that is the last day of registration for normal participations. Alright, so let's just go on forward. So right here, how to fill in the form. So number 1, use capital letters to fill in number 1, 2, and 3. So let's just go through what is number 1 and what is number 2 and what is number 3. So number 1 is right here, is the school information and person in charge. Person in charge here refers to the teacher in charge or lecturer in charge only, not parents. Okay, I repeat, not parents or not any students at all. Only teachers and only lecturers. So that's number 1. Number 2 is number of participants and payment right here. So okay, and number 3, there's no number 3 for early registration form because number 3 is for the list of participants, which means it's the information for the students, which the teachers need to fill out. Meaning that if you register for early registration period, you only need to provide the number of students that you expect to join KMC 2019, and at a later period, we will request for you to fill out another form, which you need to fill out the students' information. So why you're filling out the early bird registration is just to get 10% discount for early registration KMC 2019 as previous years has always been. So let's continue. Alright, so early registration form number 1, number 2, number 3, fill it with capital letters. Please fill in the blue cells only. Red cells are auto-generated fields, do not fill any value. For example, right here. So this is blue and this is red. So all you need to fill out is the total number of expected participants. So let's say you filled out 10 right here. So the Excel document itself is already filled with the formula. It will calculate for you straight away what is the amount of payment that you need to pay to us as the registration fees for the participants. Alright? So it's auto-generated, it's written right here, it's auto-generated fields, it will be auto-filled. Once you fill out the total number of expected participants, the amount will come out right here. Okay? So that's the blue and red cells. For non-Malaysian citizens, it is not required to fill in the IC number field. Okay, if you are a non-Malaysian citizen, if you're not from Malaysia, you do not have to fill out the IC number field for this form. So important note right here, make sure the participants' names are spelled correctly. Alright, for this year we are enforcing a new rule where certificates can only be replaced by us if the mistake is done by our part, and also the period for you to claim a new certificate is only 2 months after the award ceremony. Okay, so our ceremony is usually in July, so you only have time until September. Other than that, we will not entertain any other requests regarding on the certificates. Okay, so that's just one note. So next is how to send the registration form. So number one, fill out the form as accurately as possible. Make sure all information are correct. After you fill out the form, just go through it once or twice or maybe three times. Go through it again and again to make sure that all the information are correct, especially the address of the school, the phone number of the teacher, as well as the email information of the teacher. These are crucial informations for us, so that just in case the parcel doesn't reach you or doesn't reach the school, we know who to contact. Okay, please make sure there's only one teacher in charge. More than one teacher in charge will cause confusion on our part and yours as well. When emailing the form back, please attach the proof of payment for the registration. So for example, if you have paid 300 to us, 300 ringgit, if you have the proof of payment, if you have banked in, make sure you have the receipt slip. If you have transferred, make sure you screen capture your screen where the proof says successful of the transfer, and that screen capture or that receipt slip that you have taken a photo of, you can attach that photo into the email where you will be sending the registration form to us. Okay? If you haven't made your payment, it's okay. We would still accept the registration form, but if you are registering for early bird, please make sure that you pay before the 31st of December. Otherwise, your registration will be considered a normal registration participation. Okay? So yes, email the completed form again to info@kangaroommath.com.my. Subject email should be written as KMC 2019 early registration form in parentheses school's name. So basically, it's your subject email should be the same as your document Excel's name. Okay, so if your document's name is KMC 2019 early registration form SMQ Hulu Kelang, so that's what your subject email should be as well. Okay, if it so happens that you have a second registration form, just put the second right in front of your document's name. Okay, if it's a third registration form, so you can fill out just a third, like a 3 and an RD in front of KMC 2019 early registration form SMQ Hulu Kelang. Okay, that's just an example. If you have a second registration form, if you haven't, just proceed with the first registration form. Okay, so right here again, registration is considered accepted after the teacher in charge has received an email notification from the KMC secretariat, which could be in 5 to 7 working days. Alright, so if you have any questions, right here we have put in also our contact info. You can call us at this number, or you can also WhatsApp us at 012-9300-563. There's always somebody on the line, so if you WhatsApp us, if we take a while to answer, we're also, please remember that we're also we are also trying to entertain other teachers as well, so it might take a while for us to reply, but we will try our best to reply everything within the same day. So if you have something to fax to us, you can fax it to this number. If you want to email us the form or any inquiry at all, you can also email it to the same email, which is info@kangaroommath.com.my. So that is basically how you'd like to send in the registration form. So okay, so it's basically done. We'll go into the school information and person in charge section number 1 right here that you need to fill out. Okay, so first of all, note that the important note right here, the teacher in charge is responsible for safeguarding the contest package and administering the contest. So we take it very seriously regarding on the integrity of the competition. So we put our trust into the teacher in charge that this competition can be carried out smoothly and without any suspiciousness in the competition. So what you need to do is, if the parcel or the package arrives to the school, what you need to do is open the parcel and make sure that you have the question papers with the right number of students receiving them. Okay, but that's after the competition. Let's just go to focus on the registration form first. So okay, right here, school information and person in charge, aka teacher in charge. School name, make sure it's a full school name. You can have the short form for SMK or SMA or SK or SJKT, that one is fine, but the school name, make sure it's written in full name. Okay, so address, right here, the postcode, make sure it's the right postcode. Without the postcode, Post Laju won't be able to find your school. And make sure the right city and the right state is been written down for the address of your school. Okay, so right here, phone number and fax number. The fax number, if you don't have them, it's okay, but the phone number, make sure that it's a legit phone number so that we can call you just in case anything happens with your parcel. We have received cases where different schools get a different parcel. For example, school A and school B. School A gets school B's package while school B gets school A's package. So that can happen, which is why this information is very, very important, that we need your phone number and your private phone number, your email. We need the right information, the accurate information, so that if this happens, we can contact you straight away before the competition day, which is basically actually on the 21st March 2019. Okay, I repeat, 21st March 2019, it's written right here, down here, very big. 21st March, okay? So yes, so school code, State of District Education Office, for government school use only. If you are a government school, please state right here what your BPD is. Okay, so for example, this school right here, the BPD is BPD Melaka Tengah. And if you have a school code, also again for government school use only, if you have a school code, please write down your school code right here. So this one would be the teacher in charge. Okay, this is all information for the teacher in charge. Put in your title, whether you're Mr., Mrs., Encik, Puan, just fill in, and then fill out your full name. Bin and binti is an aside matter. If you don't want to put your bin, or you don't want to put your binti, or anything else, you don't have to put it if you don't want to, but make sure it's a full name. Okay, so your race, whether you're a Malay or an Indian or a Chinese, please put in your race right there. Your identity, identity card number, IC number. So please fill out your IC number, and this is the mobile phone number, and then this is the email address. So again, I pledge to you, please make sure that all these informations are accurate and correct informations, okay? So that we have all this information to call you just in case we need anything else. Alright? So that's basically section number 1 for school information and teacher in charge details. Okay, so next is number of participants and payment. Bear in mind, this is the early registration form, not the normal registration form. But again, as I've said earlier, these two forms are basically the same. Okay, so number of participants and payment, total number of expected participants. If you feel like maybe your school would have a 20 number of students, okay, I'm just gonna open right here a form that hasn't been filled out yet, okay, just to show you roughly. If you fill out the total number of expected participants other than 10, we will see right here what is the total amount of payment that you need to pay. Okay, so for example, let's say 30 people. Okay, just press enter right there. So there you go. So it's 891 ringgit that you would have to pay for us, for the registration fees for the students. Okay, so if you want to change it, just double click on it. You can change it, maybe put it to 15 instead, click enter, and then there you go. That's again the total amount of payment that you will have to pay for the registration fees. Okay, so that's basically it. That is the blue cell, the red cell. The blue cell you need to fill in, the red cell is auto-generated. Okay, so you don't have to disturb that fill at all. So next, the payment method, the payment date, and the reference number. So you can see below right here, we have provided you all the information that you need. What does the short form mean? If you've used EFT, which is bank in or electronic fund transfer, you can just put EFT. Or if you have provided a check, you can just write down CHQ. If you've used LO, which is a pesanan sekolah, you can just put LO right there. Okay. So if you have a payment date, we encourage you to fill out what's the payment date, so that we also, our finance department, will be able to trace your payment. So it's really important for us to encourage you to fill out that payment date right there. Okay. Plus, if you have a screen capture of that proof of payment and you have that receipt slip, so right on that paper, is already all the information that you need to fill out in this form. So if you have that slip, you have that screen capture, you can fill out this information in the form very, very easily. Okay, so reference number, as you can see right here, okay, the reference number right here, if you have paid using CIMB, you can just put CIMB and whatever the check number is, if you've used check. If you've used EFT, which is again bank in, if you've used CIMB, just put CIMB and whatever the transaction reference number is. Okay, so right now name of bank is written only here, but bear in mind that whatever method that you use to pay the registration fees, you have to put the name of the bank in front of the reference number. Okay, so if you want to know what's the short form for all banks, it's written right here. If you use Maybank, it's MBB. If it's CIMB, it's CIMB. If you're using public bank, then it's PBB. Bank Islam is BIMB. Bank Simpanan National it's BHN, and so on. I'm sorry, BSN. And so on. So please make sure that you tell us what is the bank that you're using currently to pay the registration fees. Okay, because as I said, we can trace the payment. So it's important so that if you're sure with the information that you filled out in the form, you won't have to contact us to make sure that we've received the payment. Okay? If we haven't received any payment or you have paid more than you're supposed to, we will contact you. You don't have to worry about that. We will contact you. Okay, so this is the example right here. CHQ. CHQ means you've used check. So the payment date is 1 January 2018. Reference number is MBB 113111. So basically, this is the reference number on the check, and Maybank is the bank that has been used for this person to fill out to pay the registration fees. Okay, so that's basically it for early registration form. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that's basically it for early registration form. All the information that we need is basically the school's information, the teacher's information, as well as the number of participants and the number of payment that you need to pay. As I said, if you have registered for early bird registration, please make sure that you perform the payment before the last day of early bird registration, which is the 31st December. If you pay after that date, we will accept the registration as a normal registration. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, we'll just straight away go into the normal school registration, which is basically number three. Number one and number two is pretty much the same thing. Okay? That's the school information, the person in charge, which is the teacher or the lecturer, and that's number two. Okay, so you just need to fill out this form right here. Oh wait, this normal registration form is different in the sense that, okay, for number two, these are all red cells right here, and you don't see any blue cells, which means it can be quite confusing, in which you don't know where that you should fill out all these numbers for, like how many students do you have for pre-equilibrium, or how many students you have for Benjamin. So you can't fill out that information. For your information, those information can be obtained from here. Okay? So basically, if you fill out the students right here, how many, for example, like you filled out 5 students, okay? 5 students, and they are all pre-equilibrium. Okay, so for a normal registration form, you will have to fill out number 3, section number 3 right here. Okay, once you've filled out section number 3 along with their names, their gender, IC number, race, as well as their age, and if you are in international school, year 9, year 8, and so on, the category and amount right here will be auto-generated. It will come out automatically. In which, once you've written out all this information right here, for example, right here, I filled out Khairul Anwaruddin as well as Nurul Atira Alwi. Okay, so that's their gender, that's their IC number, that's their race, and I filled out what is their age, which is basically Form 1 as well as Standard 6. Okay, so automatically the category Cadet and Benjamin was generated by all this information. So automatically up here, it will be 1 Benjamin student and 1 Cadet student, just as has been generated right here. So if you want to know what that would look like when you fill it out, basically what it looks like would be like this. Okay, so let's fill out my name, for example, like this is my name. Okay, so my gender is female, and let's say I'm 14 this year. Okay, obviously there's a temporary IC number, actually it's a fake IC number, so because I'm not 14. So okay, if I was born in 2004, I'm basically Form 2 this year. So once you filled out the form right there for the age of Malaysian school for your student, You just click enter, and there you go. The category cadet is auto-generated. And when you have filled out one student for cadet, you can go back up here and you can see that there's already one student that is being filled out information in section number 3. So there's one student up here in section 2. Okay, let's say if I delete that again, if I delete that information, sorry, something is okay. Right, if I delete that, the information right here is gone, and then if you go back up here, there's no more any students. Okay, so basically if you register 5 students, they're all cadet categories. The cadet category will be auto-generated, and then up here it will be 5. If you've registered like 2 Benjamin students, 2 student junior, 2 students, 2 junior students. So and up here it will be 2 Benjamin students, 2 student category, and 2 junior category students. Basically, it's like that, right? It's auto-generated. So don't worry if you don't know, if you can't fill out the information here. It's auto-generated once you've filled out section number 3 for list of birth. So basically, if you filled out all the information, you filled out what's the age for standard, and what's the age for form, or what's the age for year, the categories are auto-generated, so automatically up here it will the form will auto-generate for you how many students are there for each category that you fill out. So for example, you have 15 students and all the 15 students are in different categories. If you're not sure how many students are in what category, this form can tell you how many students are there. Okay, so which is why this form is actually very crucial. It's not only that it is important to us, but it's also helpful for you to keep track how many students that you have for each registration that you make with Kangaroo Maths Malaysia. Okay, so that is basically it for the form. Okay, so let's just go through, roughly go through, recap, as we say, recap the form and see what is it that if we missed out on anything. Okay, so number 1, the instruction, only teachers can fill out the form. Okay, it has to be saved in an Excel document format. It has to be emailed back to info@kangaroomath.com.my. You don't have to submit a hard copy of the form, and you will get a registration confirmation email within 5 to 7 working days. Okay, I repeat, 5 to 7 working days. The deadline to submit the form, early registration form needs to be submitted right before 31st December or on the 31st December itself. Okay, for normal registration form, it's on the 20th February 2019. Important note right here, please save your Excel document form. Your form needs to be saved as KMC 2019 register form. Register here is a short form, okay, register form, SMK Hulu Klang or SMK USD 12 or SMK Datuk Mahmud Padukeraja 1. However long your school name is, please make sure that you write the full school name, okay? So use capital letters to fill in 1, 2, and 3. Fill in only the blue cell and not the red cells. The red cells are auto-generated. Make sure that the participants' names are spelled correctly and accurately, okay? So basically how to send a registration form, make sure you have the proof of payment. If you don't have the proof of payment yet when you want to send us the when you want to send us registration form, it's fine. Okay, you can do the payment later and email us the proof of payment later, preferably in the same thread. Basically, if you've already used one email, just reply back at the same email with the proof of payment. Okay, so that way we can easily trace back what's your proof of payment for that registration. Okay, again, for the payment, if you have paid more, we will let you know and return back the money. If you have paid less, we will contact you and ensure that the right amount of money has been paid to us. Okay. If you have any information, again, you can contact us at all these numbers right here, okay? You can WhatsApp us, you can fax us, as well as email us with the same email of any kind of inquiry that you have, okay? We will try our best to cater them as soon as we can. So yes, please use only one email, which is the Teachers in Charge email, okay? And you can consider that the registration is accepted after the TIC has received an email notification from our secretariat. So yes, section 1 is the school information and person in charge, school info right here. This one is only for government school use only. This one is the teacher in charge details. And again, the teacher in charge is responsible for safeguarding the contest package and administering the contest. It is your responsibility to make sure that that the question package arrives to the school and the right number of question papers arrive to you for the school students, okay? So second, number of participants, as I've mentioned earlier, it's different from the early registration form in the sense that early registration form only needs total number of expected participants, okay? Since you don't have to fill out any information on the participant, you have to fill out the total number of expected participants right here, okay? As I said, the amount of payment is auto-generated. So right here, since it's only two number of students, the total of payment is only 66. If you have more, then the amount will be more, obviously. So yes, again, it's basically the same right here, short form for all the methods right here, and the reference number, what you need to do. If there's more than one reference number, you can separate them by just using a comma, okay? So if there's a transaction slip, you need to email us the photo of the transaction slip, not the transaction slip itself. You can email us just the photo. If it's an LO, you need document number. So if you use any kind of bank, please make sure that you write down the short form of the name of the bank in front of the reference number. If your bank is not listed here, you can just keep it empty, okay? You have the include the reference number, but if the bank is not listed here, you can not write the short form of the bank itself, okay? So yeah, that is pretty much it, okay? So right here, just a small reminder, leave a blank if the participant comes from same school stated in 1. Basically, if you have a surrogate participant in your school, make sure that you write their school name in this section right here. If it's not, if it's your original, if it's your school's original student, you don't need to fill out their school name right here. Okay, please fill out the full name of participants. Preschool are for participants below 7 years old, and private or international school, your age should be written down as grade 1 until grade 12. Pre-U to college is basically participants that are already in matriculation or foundation. Okay, so that's basically it. If there's anything that you don't understand about the form, anything that seems to be complicated or confusing to you, you can straight away contact us at the given phone number inside the form itself. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Okay, let me just repeat to you, our registration for early bird is from the 1st of January, the 1st of November until the 31st December 2018. Normal registration begins the next day, which is the 1st of January until the 20th February. You need to submit the forms for early before 31st December, and normal registration form needs to be sent in before the 20th February. Okay, it's crucial for us that you send these forms on time, because if you send it late, you might get your question packages a little bit later than every other school in Malaysia. Okay, we have around more than 1,000 schools to cater to, so we hope that we can get your cooperation with us as much as possible. We appreciate it all. Thank you so much for participating in KMC. This is our 6th year. Next year will be our 7th year. Your loyalty is very, very much appreciated. And other than that, please remember that the date of the competition is on the 21st March 2019. Okay. After 21st March is already the school holiday, so you can enjoy right after the competition. But before that, please remember to fill out the form as accurately as possible to help both our side and your side as well, so that we can prevent any kind of confusion or any kind of problems. Okay. So with that said, thank you so much for your attention. If you have any inquiries, just contact us. Any of our staff will be happy to cater to your needs or to your inquiries. Until then, thank you so much for being part of KMC 2019.